How you doing? Good morning. This is Dr. Ed Gray, Commish Radio Show, coming from you from Gray Haven. This is the backdrop. This is an actual home. This is no Zoom call or anything like this. I wanted to spend a couple of minutes of time with you. Check your schedule so I know you're busy. So I want to spend a couple of minutes of time with you to talk about what I consider to be one of the things that we need to do on this page itself. This page is a page in which we are to use social media as a construct to get our views across. Now, this page originally was set up about 15 years ago when I was planning on running for public office. Since then, I've received my master's degree, earned a doctorate. I don't have a fake doctorate. I don't have an honorary doctorate. I have an earned doctorate from SMU. Now, I've spent my entire life, literally my entire life, in politics. The first memory that I've ever had was the United States Congress in 1966 in Washington, D.C. Yep, I'm not lying. I was born in Washington, D.C., and I recall going past the Capitol building late at night, seeing the Capitol building, the dome, just beautiful dome. And I told my mother, one day I want to work with those people that lived in that house. 12 years later, I worked in that house as a congressional intern. During that time frame, I learned a lot about politics, graduated most likely to succeed at Law Magnet High School, and then furthering my education at Dallas County College and earning various degrees from bachelor's, master's, and doctorate from Southern Methodist University. During that time frame, I learned one of the social constructs that have made me very successful in life, which is the ability to be able to talk to people one-on-one and go through the fluff. And that's the reason why I'm coming to you today, to go through the fluff. I've noticed on several of these posts that we've went back and forth with each other, and I don't think that's necessarily to be rude in doing it. Now, I believe in being strong, and I'm just going to keep it plain and simple and make it only apply to me because, well, quite frankly, it's the only thing that counts right now. Let me get a cup of coffee here. It's good coffee. Folgers coffee. Oh, that was a product placement. That's what's normally done in these kind of things to get you to get a subtle message across, just like this. Twice I did. So now, that wasn't a personal endorsement for Shakita Kelly for County Criminal Court number 11 in Dallas, Texas. I would not dare say that was an endorsement for Shakita Kelly. But what I will say, that this is an endorsement for civility on this page. So I post a lot of things, and a lot of things I post, they are very aggressive because I am a very aggressive person. But I'm not a rude person. I am very aggressive when it comes to getting my point across. Because I've learned that you can't be passive in getting your point across. And during this time frame, I've noticed I've pissed some people off. And IDGAF, I really don't. We're going to speak an acronym because someone said if I curse them, I may lose some people. And I say WTF. Yeah. So I had a conversation with one of the individuals who I pissed off, and I said, hey, look, we went back and forth, and it was strong. And I texted him because I knew him. And that's the part. When we know people and you have the ability to call them up, you should be able to say, look, what I said, this is what I said. Had you considered this or had you not considered this? Don't go on and on and on and on to the break of dawn trying to get your point across and being rude about it. And I've seen some people do that. I'm just going to make it apply to me. So Jeff Copeland is a great guy. He is a former city councilman in Grand Prairie, Texas. We served on various boards and commissions before he got elected. As a matter of fact, he was one of my commission members on the commission that I chaired in Grand Prairie. A good guy. And that's why I called him up and I said, Jeff, come on. Let's have a biscuit. That's Texas style so let's go get something to eat. We went and we got something to eat, and we didn't iron everything out and had a kumbaya moment, but we understood each other and we respect each other. And for that, I like to say thank you, Jeff, for that moment, because it proved that we're all human and we are not all supposed to agree, but we don't have to be disagreeable in our arguments. So that being said, I got a list of people who have been disagreeable in their arguments. And I'll go down the list, and it's not going to be long because I don't have that kind of time. I check my own schedule. So Chris Arps, and I'm not going to mention these names as a hit list. I'm not like Donald Trump. Subtle jab again. I'm not like Donald Trump with a hit list to say this. Chris Arps is a friend of mine. I wouldn't say he's a good friend of mine, but he is a friend of mine. I've known him for years. A conservative activist, done a great job. I do highly recommend that you look at his show if you're in the St. Louis area. And I supported him when he had his blog out, moveonup.org. And that was a great blog in which conservatives got together. Yep, I looked at conservative blogs as well, because one of the degrees I have is political science, which means this is a science. This is not me just being a political hack, even though I do have my own opinions. So Chris Arps was in a situation in the Middle East in which Hamas and they were throwing rockets, if you will, shooting rockets, and his life was in danger. And I honestly prayed for this man to come back to America because he's a good guy. Politics be damned, he's a good guy. And will I be damned? He came back and he attacked me on a form of this media called the Ed Gray Political Page, and he said some things that I considered to be a little borderline. I ain't gonna say the word, but he tripped out. So that being said, I want to keep it on a high up and up and up and say, Chris, come on, man, come on, Chris. Let's get real. Let's get real about this thing, because this is just politics. I mentioned one thing about cultural genocide. Cultural genocide is defined by the United Nations Human Rights Commission, and though we are still a signatory of that commission, and I speak of that because I have a doctorate in human rights. Cultural genocide is the removal and the destruction of art and culture of minorities in a country. And that's one of the things I said that DEI is doing through its policies of cultural genocide, which is the removal of these things that I mentioned. A perfect example would be on an internet website in which you scrub the website of any references of any black achievements. That's cultural genocide. Pretty simple and forward. Instead, I received this post talking about cultural genocide is about abortion and how I was a leftist. And I'm like, what? And I'm saying WTF. Can't curse again. You guys got to catch me later on that one. But I said, what the? Come on. But the bottom line again is sometimes you have to stay in your lane and know what you're talking about. I almost slipped and said it. You got to know what you're talking about. And you have to know, most of all, how to say it. So to Chris Arps, again, let me check it out through this. Chris Arps. Is that with a K? Yeah, that was what it said. Chris Arps. I did that, didn't I? And Chris Arps. So now, next on the list, if there was a list, Marshall Hobbs. Marshall Hobbs. We're going to get a little basic here. Marshall Hobbs is from Fort Worth, Texas. And Marshall Hobbs, pardon me, Reverend Marshall Hobbs. I have to show respect for titles. Reverend Marshall Hobbs. And I don't know what the hell am I doing. I am infuriating black conservatives. They don't like me. They don't like me. They just don't like me. And frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. I really don't. Marshall Hobbs, good coffee. Marshall Hobbs from Fort Worth, no later than yesterday, it's like he's a troll. But he's a good-natured troll. But Marshall Hobbs said yesterday, in a response to what I made regarding the Trump shutdown, and he's a very big Trump supporter, and I expect that. Being a black conservative, you have to be a bigger Trump supporter than white Trump supporters in order to prove that you belong in the room. So anyway, Marshall Hobbs said that this is the point. I had said that we need to get this shutdown resolved so my Social Security deposit will be made in time. Simple. What's wrong with that? This is me. I'm not talking about nobody else. Me. So in return, I get this comment. You can check it out. Look at it. The comment was that if you're relying on Social Security as your check, then you're in a lot of trouble. Social Security is supposed to be a supplement to your life, and it's not supposed to be your check. Now here we go. That's personal. That's nothing political on that. That's personal. So my comeback on that, and I would call it a retort. My retort on that was, I wish I could just say it the way I really want to say it. I may say it later on. But my comeback on that was that I don't rely upon Social Security as my check. I'm retired. I've been retired now for several years. I retired in my 50s. And here I am, 63 years old. I don't rely on Social Security to pay my bills here at Gray Haven. I don't rely on it. But in order for me to make a connection with people who do, I said it. So, Marshall, stay out of my business. Because I only use that Social Security check for cigars and scotch. That's what I use it for. But the point being made is, why get personal? The reason why we get personal in politics is because we don't have anything else to argue about. So, Marshall Hobbs, the next time you want to come by and have a scotch, well, I'll go ahead and let you get some of my fine sipping brandy, and we have one of my cigars. If you do that type of thing, I know you're probably preaching tomorrow, so therefore you probably wouldn't want to do that with me. That's black conservatives. But I get also attacked from the left and the right, from both sides, which proves I'm an equal opportunity pisser off a person. So that being said, got another list. Let me take Marshall Hobbs out. Jim Jarokovic. Jim, I see that you sent me a Facebook request, friend request. I appreciate it. I will accept it later on after I get through with my scotch. But right now, I'm drinking coffee. Good coffee. I hope she wins by a landslide. I've done that 4 times already. So anyway, Jim, I did read your email yesterday. And by the way, this is how I'll be responding to a lot of things that I'll be coming directly to you guys just like this in the morning time. Jim, I did receive your email, and I do appreciate that. And if I mispronounce your name, please forgive me regarding that. I know you're a Jersey boy, and Jersey boys get kind of uptight about things like that. So, Jim, and I will be visiting that Fort Worth Cemetery soon. What you did not know, in the midst of your email that I thought was very well constructed, very well constructed. I really enjoyed reading. It was a post. It was quite long, to the point of actually being a letter, and it was very insightful. And you did send me one prior to that, but I don't read direct messages all the time. I just don't do it. I read my emails more so than I read Facebook Messenger. So perhaps I should start doing it. So Jim, you had an excellent point on what is going on in Fort Worth regarding protecting black cemeteries. And I was in Dallas last week, yesterday, talking about a cemetery that's being threatened again. That's Freedman Cemetery in Dallas, which Central Expressway ran right through it. And now people are taking down the plaques that are in Freedman Cemetery. So we have to protect it. And that's what I mentioned, and I was on Channel 8 where you can catch it. WFAA, I was there. And Jim saw it and responded to it. But in his response, he used the words such as, if you're going to do something about it, man up. I said, man up? What you did? He said, man, you told me to man up? Put my glasses back on. And he mentioned something about revoking a man card. Jim, as you and I will be meeting soon, I will talk to you personally about the revocation of my man card. Since you didn't give it, it's going to be pretty hard for you to take it away. But I do support what you're trying to do over in Fort Worth in protecting that cemetery. Now, I'm not an elected official. I don't proclaim to want to be one because I feel I can get more done this way by influencing people in the way and manner in which I do. And if you allow us to work together instead of trying to revoke man cards, then perhaps we should do that. What you did not know is that I was in contact with a state senator yesterday regarding the protection of black cemeteries in the state of Texas. These conversations have been ongoing through the last session, and even during the time frame that the Senate is not in session, I've been in contact with them. That being said, I certainly welcome our upcoming conversation. So as I go to a close, like we do in church, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today regarding civility and what's going on. And to those people who have received phone calls from me and have not responded to these phone calls after some things that you know are insulting, or you know that someone's going to call you out on, just pick up the phone. I'm not too hard to find. This is Coffee Time with the commish, Dr. Ed Gray. We'll see you soon. Let's try to meet here on Monday, if not sooner. Oh, Marshall, it's about that time. My Social Security check just arrived. Take care.